Hey, how you guys doing? Welcome to my podcast. My name is Emmanuel Marthal, life of a filmmaker and photographer. I'm an up-and-coming photographer and filmmaker. Come and take a walk with me as I navigate through this filming industry. Hey, everybody. How you guys doing? Welcome to Life in the Filmmaker and Photographer with your host, Emmanuel Marthal. Today, we got a special guest in that building. You know, I'm like all excited all the way from Detroit, from the D. You know, I met this young lady from Clubhouse, and let me say, Clubhouse is extremely fun. Like, I'm enjoying the whole Clubhouse. At first, I'm like, what is this all about? Like, it was all confusing. I'm like, okay, is this something that's wasting my time? Then as I had some time to digest and play around, I'm like, oh, okay, now I see what's the fuss about. At the moment, it is not addicted to me. So, yeah, I'm good, you know. So, I'm going to go ahead, let her introduce herself, her name. Young lady, what is your name?
Hey everybody, thank you so much for having me, Emmanuel. This is going to be fun. I am Marshalle Favors from Detroit.
What up, though?
What up, though? Oh, you know about that. Okay, what up, though? I am the co-director and co-founder of the Detroit Trinity International Film Festival, as well as the Detroit Black Film Festival, and what we call the Fearless Tribe of Fanatic Filmmakers, a project that uplifts African American stories.
Nice. I'm loving it. Yeah, so pretty much it's like when I hear about Detroit, I don't think about films, you know, and when we was in Clubhouse and you was talking about how Detroit is up and coming, and go ahead and tell everybody how Detroit is up and coming as far as filming wise.
Oh, okay. And also, before I get started talking about that, I did want to mention also, I feel you on the Clubhouse experience, right? When I first heard about it, I was like you, like, what is this about? This new audio app, as if we all needed one other social media platform in our lives.
You ain't lying about that.
But this was so different. It's so different in terms of the connections. I've never made so many connections so quickly with any other social media app that's
Really?
out there, and I've learned a lot. Like I mean, the folks, it's only available. It's in beta form for iPhone users right now. But in terms of connecting folks and learning, I have to say I'm really I'm really excited about it. And like you said, that's how we met. That's how we vibe connected and everything. So I just wanted to say that first. But talking about Detroit, the film community, like in Detroit, it's like you said, right? Most folks, when they think of Detroit, you think of cars, you think of music, and we have a deep legacy in those areas. But in terms of like having a film community, we definitely have a few film community here, and I'm a part of it. We have, like I said, we have something called the Fearless Tribe of Fanatic Filmmakers, where we bring together filmmakers in our area as well too. And when I say filming things like that, I'm an independent filmmaker, so I'm a part of the independent film community. But as far as even as far as like the overall like filming in terms of like history of film in like Detroit, because we do have a legacy in the automobile industry. If you go just like way back, Detroit was actually the number 3 state. Well, not that's Detroit, but Michigan. Michigan was like the number 1, the top 3 states when it came to producing actual film.
Really?
Yes, and if you look at the history of filming things like that, because we did so much film related to the the film industry, and we put out industrial filmmaking. So Michigan was always known for industrial filmmaking, and we still do quite a bit of industrial filmmaking. And then we had from 2000, I want to say 8 to 2015. We had a stint where folks were coming to Michigan, shooting, more studio films.
I agree. I've seen a lot of movies coming out from Detroit since 2008. Yeah, that is definitely true. Especially when they bring those old school cars. That's what inspired me. I was like, whoa.
Right.
Okay,
Yeah.
okay.
But as far as the independent, that's what I want to talk about. The independent film community in Detroit. We definitely have, talented writers, directors, actors, producers that are here. And I just remember, like in 2018, my husband and I going to about 26 feature film premieres
Whoa.
in Detroit. And it was kind of even like for us, we're in the community. So for us, we knew, and a lot of the folks, Detroit, believe it or not, it's a big little city. I don't know how it is in Chicago in terms of connecting and things like that, but like there's 6 degrees of separation. In Detroit, it's like 1.5 degrees of separation, and so we all support one another. So if you have a premiere, you have something coming up, we all go to each other's movie premieres, and I said, we have too much going on in terms of filmmaking here for it just to be isolated. Everyone, because one person makes a film, that's one person's film. But if we start saying, hey, in 2018, 26 feature films from Detroit, Detroit proper, Detroit filmmakers came out of Detroit, then that's a story.
That's for independent filmmakers, right? Those 26?
Yeah, independent filmmakers. Feature films. I mean, that you can see
Whoa.
like right now on Amazon Prime, on Hulu, on Tubi. Like, their films are, like out there. So we wanted to start uplifting that story and getting the word out a little bit more that, we want Detroit to be known for filmmaking too.
Man, you making me want to move to Detroit.
No, you're saying Chicago, that's a sister city, and you guys definitely have it going on there. That's just a short plane ride, short drive away.
Okay, so tell us like how the love really is in Detroit. Like, let's say like for a person who's not known, because it's like in Chicago, the love isn't there. I'm be straight honest with you. Like, if you know, like the way how Chicago is, I don't know why. I don't know if maybe it's just a Chicago thing or this is a lot of states does the same thing. It's like in Chicago, a lot of people said you got to move out of Chicago to get established. When you starting off, the love is not there, but has soon you have a name for yourself, and everybody know you, especially outside of Chicago. That's when Chicago open up and embrace you, like, hey, yeah, this is you from Chicago, and then you look at them like, okay, what were you? When I was knocking the doors, hey, can I do this, do this, do this? Like, where's that love? So, like, how's Detroit really like as far as showing respect, love, and being there as a community?
I'm not going to sugarcoat it. I think because of the nature of the industry that we're in, I think that is sentiment is all the way around, right? So you have folks who have egos in this industry. You have
You ain't lying about that.
Yeah, and have certain, hidden agendas, and not some of them not so hidden, just are more blatant about it. But at the same time, that's why I brought up this fearless tribe, right? And I want to emphasize the word tribe, right? And finding your tribe. If you connect with folks who are like-minded, and because everybody's not going to, you're not going to be able to vibe with everybody. You're not going to be able to work with everybody. You're not going to be able to build with everybody in the community. But the ones that do, like, right? So if you find those who are like-minded individuals, are about putting egos aside, about getting the work done, and that's what my husband and I, Marshalle and I, that's what we concentrate on. We rock with people who want to rock with us. We build with people who want to build with us. And so there's a lot for us. I've been doing independent films for a long time, but I'm really getting excited about just the young people that I see that are in the industry, and they are just so talented and so motivated,
Mm-hmm.
and like I said, the ones who are just like, hey, I just want to make a movie. What can I do to get it done? Who can help me do this? And other folks who are reaching out and saying, hey, because the community started because first, it's too hard to make a movie by yourself. And for other folks was like, I need XYZ to make my movie. And if somebody over here says, you know what, I'll help you and support you in that, then
Mm-hmm.
even if it's two people, you started your tribe. And then when it's beautiful when other folks come along and do the same thing,
Mm-hmm.
and I think that everybody was trying to find the benefit in that. And at the minimum, it doesn't, like some folks, it doesn't mean that everybody comes along and are like making movies together. It could be just, I have a movie and I need support getting the word out about my movie, right?
Nice,
It can be,
nice.
so it's about support in any way that you can lend support, in the same vein, in the same effort. So my husband and I, we focus, that's what we feed our energy into. We don't feed our energy into anything else except for trying to build the community, trying to bring people together, and basically just trying to put good content out here.
Love it, love it. So, you and your husband, y'all business partners?
Yes, yes.
Nice,
So
nice.
110%, like in it. Um, I don't know if I have time for a quick story.
Go ahead, yeah, go ahead. You got time, girl.
It's
This
okay.
is your show today.
My husband and I, we've been married for 3 years,
Mm-hmm.
and so actually
Congratulations.
had met. Thank you. All right. So we um, met, or I should say, we were reconnected back in 2016. I want to say, and 2015,
Mm-hmm.
and so we and so he has his own business. It's called Everyday I'm Okay, and it's a positive lifestyle apparel company, and I was into the film. So it's not like he has been doing this for like years and years and years. It
Mm-hmm.
was like almost just like this synergy where he was like, oh, independent filmmaking, he's like, okay, what's that all about?
Mm-hmm.
And and to fast forward, to jump to the story, I go to a lot of film festivals, and one of my favorites is the ABFF. It happens in Miami, and years ago that A stood for Acapulco, and I actually went when my very first time going to a film festival was in Acapulco, back in the day, and I always do contests. A film festival will have a contest and say,
Mm-hmm.
or whatever. So I entered one, and I was talking to him about it, and I said, you know what, I want to do this contest, but it's due in like a week. I was like, I don't know if I could pull it off, but it was a short film. It wasn't like, it was actually more of a video, like a 90-second video you had to pull together. And I said, it's due in a week.
Wow. Mm-hmm.
And he said, well, if you want to do it, I'll help you with it. And mind you, at this time, it wasn't like he was in the industry or anything, but he was just like, I'll help you with it. I'll be willing to, like help you out with it. I said, okay. So I called the talent agency. I had an idea, about it, and I got the script together. Again, it was a 90-second video, so it wasn't like a huge, project
Mm-hmm.
in terms like script wise, and got the video together. And by him having an apparel company, he did the wardrobe for me. He went out and got and we scouted locations together, and called the talent agency, got the actor. I had a friend of ours also who did music and did the scoring, and another filmmaker who was a DP, and we were rolling. And
Mm-hmm.
that film ended up I was a finalist, and for the competition. And again, like 20 years ago, that was the first film festival I had ever gone to. And to come back 20 years later, because I had produced a lot of films, but this was the first one that I had written and directed and was going to be shown in front of a live audience. And they screened it in front of 1,400 people at the ABFF. So for me to go back, like as a director,
Mm-hmm.
like 20 years later for this film festival that I first went to, I mean, I was just ecstatic. And needless to say, my now husband helped to get me there. So I figured he's a keeper. He's a keeper. So
Hey, that's what's up.
yeah. So after that, we've been making films together ever since. And he's my the co-director of the film festivals. And we started the Detroit International Film Festival has been around for this year, our 15th year. But the Detroit Black Film Festival was our first year in 2020. And so, he's really been the one that has been supporting the festivals and giving them like a larger presence. So it's been cool.
Love it. Love it. Okay. So, why films?
Oh my goodness! For myself,
Mm-hmm.
I think that I've always been attracted to like movie making, storytelling, and my mother credits herself for my love for filmmaking because she said she used to sit me in a rocker, and she would put me in front of the television, and I would be mesmerized. She said that she could clean the whole house. She said I could sit her in front of that rocker and I would clean the whole. She said I wouldn't say a word. I would be mesmerized,
Really?
so I was definitely a person that like grew up like loving television and
Mm-hmm.
loving the fact that like these it sparked my imagination, but I I didn't have anyone around me, like I didn't know how to get into like the film industry. And as a kid, you just
Mm-hmm.
like, well, how do you get on TV? Like, how does that? It was that question in my mind. I remember even as a kid, like, how do you get on TV? Um, and so, um, even when I look back at like my own journey in grade school, I used to write plays, and my gym teacher
Whoa.
used to let me put on the plays
That
in
early?
the auditorium. Yeah, but again,
Woo-hoo.
it wasn't like like I knew a path or anything like that. Just as a kid, I was like, like we would do plays, like we would do school plays, right?
Mm-hmm.
But
Mm-hmm.
I would say to myself, well, I got an idea, like I want to put something on stage. So even, because of Facebook, I was able to tell that gym teacher that we were reconnected via Facebook, and I got a chance to tell her that like as a kid to believe in a kid I was like in fifth and sixth grade,
Mm-hmm.
from fifth grade to seventh grade I was doing this, and we would practice. I get the kids together and we would practice at lunchtime and and she got the whole school to like come like see this play like that we did. We rehearsed and everything. So now I see that as a part of my journey, but because I didn't have those direct connections, like I remember it always being a part of me. Like I always wanted to do it, and I used to say, like in high school and college, I was like, I was like, okay, once I'm this age, then I'll start. Like I'll move to Hollywood or something like that, or I'll do. Like I always had that, like in the back of my mind that I was going to do it this way. I was going. It didn't happen anyway like that. It didn't
Mm-hmm.
happen like that, like at all, right? Um, and what got me started, like I said, on the journey was going to a film festival. And at that festival, um, it I met writers, directors, like actors, and producers. And I have to say this. I thought it was going to be like this velvet rope experience where, let's say you're at the Oscars, right? And you see Halle Berry and Denzel Washington, like from afar, like you see him like
Mm-hmm.
over there, and you may get a glimpse of them. And, like I thought that's what it was going to be like. But it wasn't like that at all. There was no velvet rope. Like everybody was there networking with everybody. Like you could be in the hotel lobby, and like at that time I remember like Mackay Pfeiffer being there, Sanaa
Really?
Lathan, and yeah, like at the award ceremony I sat like two seats over from John Singleton And the acting teacher was Bill Duke, and
Oh
in the
my
acting class, Barbara
God.
Townsend would stop through the acting class and just see, how and I remember and Chris Tucker. I remember Chris Tucker like walking in one time, and then folks like asking about his experience in the industry, stuff like that. And again, there was no velvet rope. It was just artists connecting with other artists,
Where was this
and
at?
that, yeah, and that whole experience started to demystify the industry for me, because I was like, when people started telling their journey and how they got into like film and acting, and at that time, like I said, I wasn't there as a filmmaker. I was there because I'm like, this is the closest thing I'm gonna get to going to the Oscars, and I was like, and these are the folks I want to see anyway. These are the people I want to see, and
Yeah.
so and so I just went because I loved like watching movies. So for me, I'm like, that's my kind of vacation. Sand Beach Sun movies. I'm like, I'm there, and so I met a filmmaker at that time who was from Detroit but hadn't been back to Detroit at that time in 17 years.
Mm-hmm.
Right? So he was like, I would love to come back to Detroit and make a movie, but I haven't been back there in 17 years. And uh, I was like, well, if you want to come back to Detroit and make a movie, I'll help. What I gotta do? What do you need? Right? And so he was like, well, I need dot dot dot, and I
Mm-hmm.
would go out and find the dot dot dot, and I did that on one set, then I did that on another one, and then I did it on another one. So much so that I did not know that that's what producers did. I didn't know that. Like I said, I didn't go to school for filmmaking, anything like that, and
Mm-hmm.
so I didn't find out that what I was doing was producing. True story. I kid you not. I was sitting in the theater, and when the credits rolled, it said producer Marshalle Montgomery,
How
and I
did
was
you
like,
feel when you seen that? How
what?
did you feel when you seen that, girl?
Let me find out. I was like, what? I am producing. um, so after that, I started like studying more. Like I said, I didn't go to film school, but I started learning more about the industry. Like I said,
Mm-hmm.
and then in the summer, I would find a set. I would find, and so I really learned like hands on. Like I would find a set, and you and be I wouldn't be annoying, but I would try to ask questions when I could. But I observed a lot, and I would keep um I'd keep a notebook like in my back pocket, and like I would just observe things and write it down. Even like the language, like
Mm-hmm.
learning like the language when they would call out certain things on set. Like I'd write that down, right? And
Mm-hmm.
like the certain cadence when they like pictures up, uh, rolling, sound rolling, speed, action, for all of that. Like
Mm-hmm.
I would write that, like that sequence down, and then when they had like the different departments and stuff like that, video village, I would just, just certain language, I would just kind of write down, and then I started um, learning more, and then in 2006, I had wrote a short movie, and some friends of mine and my cousin said, "You want to produce this? Let's produce it, and I think you should direct it." I was like, what? And I was nervous as I would get out. I was like, oh, I panicked. I was like, no, and so once I did it like that first time, and got over the nervousness of it, I was like, I had gone through the process enough to know, like the elements, like what should happen, what I needed, things like that,
Mm-hmm.
and to walk myself through it. And then, it was, as my husband would say after that, no breaks. I was, I was in it. This was it.
Wow, that's dope. That is amazing story. Okay, I got a question for you. Top five favorite movies and why?
You said what now? Top what?
What's your top five favorite movie of all time and why?
I don't know if I have a favorite, but I definitely have some favorites.
Okay.
right? Because I think it switches up. But I would say there's some that have been more memorable for me because they've
Mhm.
been a part of my journey
Mhm.
um, for so long. Um, and first and foremost, I would have said like Boomerang, like back in the day. I
Okay.
mean,
Mike is
Boomerang,
darling.
yeah. There's so many lines in that movie, right? that so that memorable for me. But at the time, I think it was because, and I would say probably all of my top five were going to be by black directors, producers, or the content. The ones that immediately came to mind
Mhm.
were like Boomerang, Best Man Holiday, Coming to America. It was like those were the first ones that um, like came to mind, and like Beale Street um, and 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 like I said, it's probably, well, first of all, Boomerang for me was probably because again it was like black people on film. It was like
Mhm. Yeah, that was
you
like
know
the first cast of all black cast. And then
well
I remember Eddie Murphy had a flack for it. Like they was talking about him, like what's up with that? Because it was something that has never been done about.
there's a lot of things about that movie. I mean, it wasn't the first black cast. I mean, we can, because black people, we've been making movies,
Mhm.
for as long as the industry has been around. I mean, when you go back to Oscar Michaud and and you go back through the history, we've always been and made a mark like in this industry.
Good and bad.
And even my husband and I, we did a whole series last month for Black History Month, just talking about different folks in the industry and contributions and stuff like that. But
Mhm.
for me, Boomerang specifically, again, it's like what you said, by it being a black cast and it highlighted black professionals. That was
Mhm.
the thing
Mhm.
about that movie for me specifically, and in the agency. And I remember sitting in the audience and getting up and walking out of the audience, and a white person saying, making a comment as we were walking out, saying, oh, that would never happen meaning in terms of a black owned business. And that they were specifically talking about that aspect of the movie, of it being a
Really?
black owned business, right? And then I'm thinking to myself, you've never heard of Johnson Company, you've never heard of Ebony Magazine, like you've never heard of the Dudley Company, and then even in Michigan and Detroit, at that time it was called Global Hue. Like there was a black owned, like African American, like agency, like here, like in this, state, in this city, right?
Mhm.
So like that, but that just showed me there wasn't enough representation. Like, and the fact that folks didn't see us like that. Like for me, like I was sitting, that's what really brushed me the wrong way, is that you know that people thought it was so unbelievable to even see us like that. I was
Mhm.
like, so I never forgot that experience. I never forgot that comment. But and again, I was like, uh, I think I was probably in college, like at that time. So for me to see, I'm soon to be going out to the work world,
Mhm.
and and I have to say that the majority of my professional experience has been working with black professionals, like the companies I worked for, the experiences that I had, like internships and things like that.
Mhm.
They were with black owned companies, a majority, like black owned companies. So or in schools and things like that. I was a teacher for a while as well too, but you know and then the other one, of course, the Best Man Holiday,
Mhm.
that again. So another film, Black Professionals, right?
Mhm.
I just, and then Terrence, Howard, and just that whole cast. And so fast forward again, when I won that, um, when I was a top three finalist for the ABFF, competition.
Mhm.
Part of my experience, or you know, part of what you gained from being a finalist was a lunch with Malcolm D. Lee
Really?
and mentorship from, him. So to like be one of my top 5 favorite movies, and then be able to, have lunch and gain some gems from his
Oh
knowledge.
yeah, I know you got
It was
some.
like
I know you
firsthand.
got some. You
I
went
was,
straight to the jewelry store with that.
oh my goodness. Again, it's just one of those one in a lifetime type, like moments where you're just like, this is really happening. So it was so cool. Again, so when you talk about one of my top 5, so that's definitely Best Man Holiday is definitely like one of my top 5 in my top 5. But I love the classics too. Like I love black and white movies. I love you know, and films that were made by African American females, and it wasn't until I saw a documentary by Yvonne Wilborn,
Mm-hmm.
and her documentary was called Sisters in Cinema, and man, there was so many like African American female like filmmakers that I learned about like through her documentary. That was just so inspiring to me. Um, so when just just I cannot talk about like my journey and my inspiration without talking about that particular documentary and all the African American women who were in cinema that was and are still like blazing trails and things like that. You got Regina King, man.
Yeah, she doing big things now.
Man,
Especially her latest movie that she did. Well,
One Night in Miami.
yes, I was like, what?
Yes, yes.
That's gonna be a classic movie. Watch.
Oh yes, I agree with you. I agree with you. Definitely, one for the time, one for the books. But you can't bring up African American female filmmakers also without talking about Queen
Mm-hmm.
Ava DuVernay.
Mm-hmm.
And again, setting a precedent by her series Queen Sugar. She has every last episode of Queen Sugar has been directed by a female filmmaker. So in terms of like representation and putting more females on in the industry,
That's what's
and
up.
then she's just first African American woman to like do $100 million like film, and I mean, what?
Whoa.
Definitely inspired by her films. Because when you said like favorite movies, also that came to mind too. I'm like anything by Ava DuVernay, right? Any
What
film
What
by
was your
Queen
favorite?
Ava.
What was your favorite film that she made?
I think I will follow for certain reasons because it was one of her first. Um, I mean, there's if you really dig deep in there, like she did this hip hop film that even came before I will follow, but I will follow. Um, um, I think I was inspired by that one because as an independent filmmaker, like I'm not going out tomorrow and making $100 million film, you know.
You never
But
know. You never know.
I'm saying, well, thank you for I'm claiming. Then I'm claiming. Then you said it, so I'm
Mm-hmm.
claiming. Um,
Yup. Make sure
so
you got me on
so,
set.
and likewise, you know that $100 million
Oh,
film
you
coming
already
out.
know. You be the first person I
Girl.
called.
But I think because it was when I saw the structure of it, that it was
Mm-hmm.
done in one location, and then how to tell a story with bringing in multiple people in one location, like that's doable. Like when you talk about a framework for an independent film, like a structure for it,
Mm-hmm.
it made it again like demystifying Hollywood, and she talks about uh, the budget of, I think 50,000, maybe even 30,000, I forget, but somewhere between 50 and 30,000 to make that movie, um, and to have Sally Richardson and Mari Hardwick in it, and you know, and a whole other cast of like talented people. And it was so beautiful. Like the storytelling in it was like so beautiful, and so I was like, wow, I could see myself in the work in that by her being, black and female and an indie filmmaker. So I could see myself in that. So as an example, I'm hoping that other, young, and there's so many out there now. Like so they're really pushing the envelope and making people be seen like in this industry. So I give her a lot of credit for that. And I don't know if a lot of folks know that movie, but for me, um, yeah, it's like her independent stuff that stands out for me.
Do you see more people becoming more independent instead of back in the day that people was like, I want to be a filmmaker. I gotta move to LA. I gotta work for Hollywood. Cause to me it seems like there's more people like, nah, I don't need Hollywood. I can make films right here. All I need is a nice following. Doing the Spike Lee route, the Tyler Perry route, John Singleton route. Like, do you see that more happening?
I think so. I mean, I think, but um, I think like social media and other media platforms have opened the door up
Mm-hmm.
for folks to get their work out there and seen like in a broader way.
Mm-hmm.
So I would definitely say like day to day working wise, of course, being in a state that has the ability for folks to like work, earn a living. So of course you still can't uh, be like places like Atlanta and New York and Chicago and LA, because in terms like the way the industry like is there. But for
Mm-hmm.
independent filmmaking, I think that you can be anywhere. You can be anywhere. But of course, also because there are certain states and countries like Canada, things like that have tax incentives, and so folks shoot there, and it's especially in Atlanta, things like that.
Mm-hmm.
They have tax, they have film tax incentives, so folks are and that's across the board, whether you're an independent film or a studio film, you gravitate towards those places that are going to help you make some of your money back.
I ain't lying
But
about that.
in terms of getting it done, and for me, me in Detroit, we make micro budget films. So we're doing the extra low budget film contracts, and we make films anywhere from $1, and I would say like mid range from anywhere from like zero to, I'm gonna cap it at maybe 50,000, like 50, because there's a few folks that I do know that like that was their budget, but anywhere in between there.
I wish I had a
Um,
$50,000 in my check account right now.
but yeah, so that's like, so the films that we do like specifically are like I remember like back in 2008, I want to say it was like our first budget. We had 10 friends that put up $1,000. We made a $10,000 movie, right?
Mm-hmm.
Um, every so now you've had platforms where folks are doing like Seed and Spark and Indiegogo and like the crowdfunding route to raise money for their films. You have because I'm saying that to say, like, I would say, like, back in the day, like, capital was definitely like a barrier. Not having enough support
Mm-hmm.
and
Mm-hmm.
resources was a barrier. But, equipment, like owning equipment, having equipment was a barrier. So, all those things, because people have equipment now, because you can, like, I downloaded the DaVinci, like, editing app yesterday, like, on my computer via someone that I met on Clubhouse
Mm-hmm.
uh, in a room, and he does this 1 minute film school. Darian and actually walked folks through it, right? So
I
here
got a
I'm
joint.
sitting in, yeah, I'm sitting in my living room, like learning how to edit, movies. Like, and so I think because those opportunities exist now, because you can make a movie and find distribution. Like that was a mystery to us. Like back we were like distribution.
Exactly.
That was a mystery. But today, like I could go on Prime, I could go on Hulu, Tubi. I can find independent films from folks like from all different kind of places, from Texas, Idaho, but places maybe I don't know you didn't think had a large film community. Independent film. Now you can literally be anywhere, and there's really like no breaks, no excuses. Like folks can get their movie like made today, and have platforms and build an audience for them. Like especially if you're doing things on a consistent basis to connect with your audience, if you're on, I don't know, any kind of social media platform and folks are starting to follow you and you're telling your story, you're like, hey, and I have this film coming up and people start connecting with you. By the time you put that film out, you almost have like a base of, of an audience that you're continuing to build. So in saying that, I think that, you can be anywhere and make art, make your film, and get it out there for people to see.
Nice. So, maybe I could ask one quick question, because I know you gotta go. I was wondering, can we do a part 2? Because I'm enjoying this, and I know for a fact my listeners will be enjoying this. Like, can we do a part 2?
Oh, sure. Thank you for the invitation. Would love to do it. Because one, you're talking my language.
Right.
I can talk about making movies, like all day. So of course, I would love to stay connected, and I would love to do it again.
Okay, so where can people find you? Because I know people gonna be hitting me up like, "Yo, where can we find her?" Like, where can they support you? Like, or buy your DVDs, whatever.
Oh, well, thank you. But so again, this is for the independent filmmakers that are out there. Again, when you're talking about having your film seen and gaining the audience, as I said, we have 2 film festivals: the Detroit Trinity International Film Festival and the Detroit Black Film Festival. And both of the festivals are on Film Freeway. We're also, if you want to stay connected with us, and we're on Facebook and Instagram, Detroit Trinity Film Fest, Detroit Black Film Festival. I think even if you Google it, all of our social media pages will come up. Even the Fearless Tribe of Fanatic Filmmakers, if you Google that, I'm sure we have, a lot of content on YouTube related to like that. I don't want to call it project initiative, but the tribe is on there. You can find the tribe.
Okay.
But and of course, with you and I, hey, we're in these clubhouse streets.
You ain't lying. And we
connect with folks on Clubhouse.
Hey, we definitely gotta do some project this year. Like for real. We definitely gotta link up and just execute and make it happen.
I love it. You said a mouthful right there. It's all about making it happen.
Yeah, cause I mean that's always been my whole motto, cause I'm like, okay, it was a reason for me to meet people in Clubhouse, and I'm definitely grateful. I get to learn new things, network, hey, even find new friends from Clubhouse. So it's just like I'm just ready to do my passion and being around people who love doing the same thing that I do. It's like, okay, man, we gonna make it happen.
That's right.
All right.
Well, thanks for having me. This has been awesome. Appreciate it.
Likewise. So we'll set up a date when you're available to do a part 2. Hey, I won't be surprised if it's a part 3 or 4 or 5. All right, so I have fun with you, and I know for a fact my listeners are gonna be like, man, yeah. So thank you again for being on my show, and yeah, looking forward to talking to you again, inviting you, and working with you, and just growing together. So thank you. I really appreciate it.
Thank you as well. It was fun. I enjoyed it. appreciate it.
All right, so I'll talk to you later.
Okay, all right, bye. Be well.
Bye-bye. And yes, I'm definitely inviting her back, y'all. So thank you for listening to this podcast. This is like one of the few podcasts that I ain't had to do nothing, just sit back, just ask questions and let them do their thing. And I enjoyed it. And I'm gonna do more of this, invite guests, promote other people's work, and let this this filming photography community grow. It's like all it is about supporting love. That's what I do, and who knows, I may have your boy Denzel in this podcast, boy. All right, talk to you guys later. Peace.